There's an old rule in warfare. If you're going to fly something secret over enemy territory, you'd better be sure you can get it back. America forgot that rule, and Iran took full advantage. They didn't shoot down America's most advanced stealth drone. They didn't blow it up. They tricked it into landing itself on an Iranian runway. Then they took it apart, copied it, improved it, and started flying it against the United States Navy. This is the story of the RQ-170 Sentinel and its Iranian twin, the Shahed-171. The Beast of Kandahar. The RQ-170 Sentinel is built by Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works, the same secretive division behind the U-2 and the SR-71. It's a flying-wing stealth drone with a 90-foot wingspan, radar-absorbent skin, and a price tag of around $6 million per unit. It was designed to do one job extremely well: slip into the most heavily defended airspace on the planet and come back out without anyone noticing. Most American pilots had never seen one in person. Its missions were classified at the highest levels. It's the same drone that watched Osama bin Laden's compound for months before the SEAL Team 6 raid. The media nicknamed it the Beast of Kandahar after a grainy photo leaked from an Afghan airbase. And for years, it was considered untouchable. The night the link went dead. Then one night, a Sentinel was flying deep over Iran on a surveillance run against the country's nuclear program. Somewhere over the city of Kashmir, about 140 miles inside Iranian territory, the link went dead. Back at Creech Air Force Base in Nevada, operators stared at empty screens. The drone was supposed to enter what's called a lost link protocol. It was supposed to orbit in place, wait for the connection to come back, and if all else failed, fly itself home. That's what the manual said. That's what the engineers had promised. The Sentinel was supposed to be unhackable. It wasn't. A few days later, Iranian state TV aired footage that changed everything. There it was, the Beast of Kandahar, sitting on a stage in Tehran, almost completely intact. Iranian generals stood around it smiling in front of a banner quoting Ayatollah Khomeini. The US cannot do a damn thing. President Obama publicly asked Iran to give the drone back. Iran laughed. Then they reportedly invited Russia and China to come take a look at it. How Iran pulled it off. So how did they do it? How does a country under heavy sanctions, with an air force still flying F-14s from the 1970s, capture the most advanced stealth drone on the planet? The answer came from an Iranian engineer who spoke anonymously to the Christian Science Monitor. He said Iran had been studying American drone vulnerabilities for years. They'd picked apart smaller drones that had crashed in the region. They'd read every published paper on GPS spoofing they could find. And they'd recently acquired a Russian-built electronic warfare system called the Avtobaza, which is specifically designed to jam the communication links of unmanned aircraft. When the Sentinel crossed into Iranian airspace, the trap was already set. Iranian electronic warfare teams jammed the satellite link, severing the drone's connection to its operators. With the link gone, the Sentinel did exactly what it was programmed to do. And it switched to autopilot and started trying to fly itself home using GPS coordinates. And that's where Iran got clever. They didn't crack the encryption. They didn't break into the remote control system. They just fed the drone false GPS signals, a technique called spoofing. They convinced the Sentinel that an Iranian airstrip was its home base in Afghanistan. The runway heading matched. The elevation matched. The drone's onboard computer believed every lie it was told. And then it lowered its landing gear and touched down inside enemy territory. The Iranian engineer summed it up in one line: by putting noise on the communications, you force the bird into autopilot. That's where the bird loses its brain. The Pentagon's denial. American officials pushed back hard. They insisted the Sentinel used inertial navigation, not GPS, one as its primary system, and that spoofing alone shouldn't have worked. Some claimed mechanical failure. Others quietly pointed at a keystroke logging virus that had infected drone control systems at Creech Air Force Base just weeks earlier. Former Vice President Dick Cheney publicly criticized the Obama administration for not bombing the wreckage to destroy the secrets inside. But none of the arguing mattered. While the Pentagon was still debating how it happened, Iranian engineers were already inside the drone, pulling it apart piece by piece. Digital DNA theft. This is where the story stops being about a lost drone and starts being about something much bigger. Iran didn't just want a trophy. Iran wanted the blueprints. Within days, technical teams were swarming over the Sentinel, measuring its curves, with scraping samples of its radar-absorbent coating, photographing every panel, every sensor mount, every bolt. They opened the belly of the aircraft and pulled out the hard drives, the targeting pods, the electro-optical sensors. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps later claimed they had successfully extracted all of the data the drone had collected on its previous missions. Every base it had photographed, every frequency it had listened to, every secret it had ever carried home. And then came the visitors. Reports suggest Chinese aerospace experts arrived in Tehran within days of the capture, with some components allegedly shipped to China for further analysis. Russia, having just sold Iran the Avtobaza jamming system, was reportedly very interested too. So in one stroke, two of America's biggest strategic rivals were getting a free education in the most advanced stealth technology Lockheed Martin had ever built. Defense analysts call this digital DNA theft. It's not just about copying the shape of the aircraft. It's about stealing the logic, the software, the sensor architecture, the way the machine thinks. Every chip is a chapter in a textbook the Americans never meant to publish. In one night, Iran skipped roughly 30 years of stealth research and development. The Iranian twin. A few years later, Iranian state TV unveiled the result. They called it the RQ-170 Sentinel, named after a mythical Persian bird. And it looked exactly like the Beast of Kandahar. Same flying wing silhouette, same stealth contours, same bat-shaped profile. Then came the RQ-191, a jet-powered strike variant that could carry precision-guided bombs under its wings. Iran wasn't just defending its skies anymore. It was building a stealth strike fleet from American blueprints. The boomerang hits Israel. The message landed not long after. An Iranian drone crossed into Israeli airspace from Syria. Israeli F-16s scrambled and shot it down. When the Israelis recovered the wreckage, they confirmed it was a Sayegh, an Iranian copy directly derived from the captured Sentinel. An Israeli Air Force brigadier general described it as surprisingly advanced and openly emulating Western technology. Iran was now flying America's own stolen technology against America's closest ally in the Middle East. The boomerang had come back, and it had teeth, bleeding the US Navy dry today. And yet the story has evolved into something even more uncomfortable for the Pentagon. Iran has built what defense analysts describe as a layered drone architecture, swarms of cheap, expendable, stealth-shaped UAVs operating in and around the Strait of Hormuz, the choke point where roughly a fifth of the world's oil flows every single day. The optics, the sensor layouts, the stealth shaping, much of it traces back to that one captured Sentinel. And here's the part that keeps American admirals awake at night. Iran's drones cost roughly $20,000 per unit. The American interceptor missiles used to shoot them down cost up to $2 million apiece. Every time Iran launches a swarm, the US Navy loses money on the exchange. This is asymmetric warfare in its purest form. Iran isn't trying to defeat the US fleet ship for ship. Iran is trying to bankrupt the cost of defending the Gulf until it becomes politically impossible to keep showing up. Robots do not bleed. And there are no Iranian pilots to mourn. No funerals, no body bags. The operators sit in offices in Tehran, far from the front, while their machines challenge the most powerful navy in human history. Robots do not bleed. The lesson from all of this is brutally simple. Complexity is a liability. If a piece of technology is too secret to be lost, it shouldn't be flown over enemy territory in the first place. Because the moment it falls, the moment a single Sentinel touches down on the wrong runway, it stops being a weapon and starts being a gift. A gift to your enemies, a gift to your rivals, a gift to every engineer in Tehran, Beijing, and Moscow who's been waiting for a shortcut. America didn't just lose a drone that night, it handed over 30 years of stealth research, billions of dollars in sensor technology, and the digital DNA of its most secret machine. And right now, the ghosts of the Beast of Kandahar are circling the US Navy in the very waters America once ruled without question. Because in modern warfare, the most dangerous weapon isn't the one you build. It's the one your enemy steals from you.